All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get started here. So welcome, if this is your first time here, to the Probability Power Indicators orientation session. I am Travis. I am the head of education here at Power Indicators. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, so in this presentation, I'm going to discuss the indicators, discuss some key setups with the indicators and using the indicators, how to use them. I'm going to go through some current market overview stuff, as well as a couple case studies or a case study using the tools. We will touch on money management, and then we will have a Q&A session, question and answer, with a chart blast. The chart blast is where you get to give me any symbol that you want to take a look at, and we will take a look at them on the charts with the tools. So be sure to have your symbols ready for the end of at the end of the presentation there for the chart blast. As far as the Q&A is concerned, if you have any questions now, or if you have questions as I'm going through this presentation, please type those questions into the Q&A portion on Zoom. And then when we get to the Q&A section of the presentation, I'll go back and I'll make sure that I answer every single question that's been put in the Q&A session. I will be keeping an eye on the chat as well, but sometimes I'll miss some things. So if you want your question answered, make sure you type it into the Q&A portion. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So starting with the indicators and explaining what we have in the indicators. The first indicator is the power cloud. And the power cloud shows you the trend that we're currently in. And you can see on the image here, we have a blue cloud, and then it switches to a purple cloud. And so the blue cloud indicates that the trend is up, and then it switches to purple, indicating that the trend has switched to down. So let me pull up the charts here. So this is a chart of the ES. It's a 1-minute chart of the S&P futures. This is what I primarily trade, so I'm going to be showing you everything on the ES. My day trade the ES futures. So I have the indicator set up on here. If you click the gear for the probability power indicators, that will give you all these different options. You can select and deselect any of the indicators that you want to see or don't want to see. So at the bottom here, we have the probability power cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and check that to turn that on. You can also see at the top here, it says probability power colors. If I drop that down, you have blue and purple. You can also change that to red and green if you prefer to have red and green for that. Personally, with these tools, with the TradingView charts, I think the blue and purple look better. So those are the colors that I use. So looking at the 1-minute chart here, you can see that we've had some blue, we've had some purple, some more blue, some more purple, purple, blue, purple, and we just switched to blue here just a couple minutes ago. So a lot of back and forth in today's market action. No clear indication of which direction the trend is going back and forth, which would be something we'd expect because today the FOMC meeting minutes is at 2 p.m. Eastern. So we of course expect the market to kind of go back and forth like that during a day like this. But this is how you use the power cloud, and you can see lately primarily really since here close to the 11 o'clock hour, we've been mainly in a downtrend, had a little uptrend here for a brief moment in time, but primarily a purple cloud. So but just again, that indicates that the power cloud shows you the trend. All right, then the next indicator is the support and resistance zones. Now there's 3 zones on the on the power indicators, the institutional red dash is the most important of the zones. Then there are the major zones, and then the minor zones, which are the least important. So let me go ahead and pull back the charts, show that to you. So I'll go back to the gearbox here on the probability power indicators. I'm going to turn the power cloud off for now. And see here, we have the institutional power zones. So I'm going to check that. Excuse me, we'll start with those. And now you can see, let me zoom out a little bit. So you can see two of the red dashes here above us, showing that there's resistance here at these levels around the 4290 and 4305, 4310 here on the ES. So those are the major institutional resistance levels on the ES currently. So I'll turn those off and I'll turn on now the major zones and show major and show minor. So I'll turn on the major zones. Not sure, yeah, we don't have any majors anywhere near above us, but below us there's some support here at these levels. So right now we're showing 4210 to 4205, as well as 4185 and around 4170. We have some support in the way of these major lines. So you can see the major lines are the light blue lines here. And then I'll go back to the gearbox. I'll turn off the major zones. Now I'll turn on the minor zones. I'm not sure if we have any minor zones. Oh, there we go. So we do have a minor resistance above us here at 4290, and then a minor support 4235, and then looks like there's actually a couple down here around 4185. So these are the minor support and resistance zones. You can see they're a little thinner than the major zones, and they're a darker blue. So those are the three different types of zones. Now let me go ahead and I'll put all three of them on there at the same time. So you can see what they all look like together. And of course, when you see zones, the different types of zones next to each other, that adds some significance to that zone. So again, we have the two red institutional dashes above us as resistance. And then we do have that minor zone there as well around the 4290. So we know that that area is going to be a pretty significant level of resistance at this point in time. And then of course we have the support of the major and minor zones stacked below us. And then there's a minor zone laid on top of a major zone here around 4185. So we know that that's going to be an important level of support. Okay. So those are the support and resistance zones. Next, we have the probability calculator. And I'll just go straight to the charts here and I'll show you the probability calculator. Let me turn off the support and resistance zones. And I'll zoom out a little bit here and we'll drag the chart over. So you can see there's a box here that's labeled the short-term probability power box. And then to the right of that, I'll zoom out even further, we have the long-term probability power box. So as you can see, there's a short-term and a long-term probability box, probability calculator. That is on here as the probability power calculator. And I have a gearbox for those as well, where I can turn on either the short term or the long term, or have them both on my chart. Now, the short term you want to use primarily if you do day trading. And then if you do swing trading and long-term investing, then you want to stick to the long-term probability box. The short-term probability box is not going to be as useful if you do swing trading or long-term investing, other than to maybe find an entry, a specific entry for the day. But for the most part, you can just use the long-term probability power box. for swing trading and long-term investing. Now, within the power boxes, first of all, there's the calculator percentages. You can choose to either have none, and you'll see that there are no probabilities showing now on the power boxes. You can do divisional percentages, which is going to show you. Let me zoom out or zoom in a little bit on so you can see the short-term box. You can see these static percentages based on, I have the box divided into thirds, which is a setting as well. You can see the long-term box is divided into tens. And so it's showing the static percentages based on that setting. So I'll go back into the settings here and I'll show that to you. So again, the short-term power division, I have it divided by thirds, and you can change that to either divided by half, divided in quarters, divided by 5, or divided by 10. So the short term I like to have divided by 3, and then the long term I like to have divided by 10, but you can have those divided however you choose. And then when you choose the divisional percentages, that's when it's going to give you the static percentages based on whichever division you have chosen. If you change that to the box percentages, now it's going to give you the dynamic percentages in each of the calculators. So right now, what the long-term probability power box is telling us at this point in price, we're kind of in the middle of the box here in the gray zone. And so that is showing us that we have a 52% chance of price going down from this level, and a 47% chance of the price going up from this level. And that's long term. So we're in a 50-50 zone right now, long term on the ES. Now, if I zoom in on the short term probability calculator, and again, this is primarily used for day trading. So this is saying with the price here on the ES, there's a 75% chance of a long and a 23% chance of a short from the prices here, okay? So that's how you use the box. And on both of them, you can see that there's a red zone near the top, gray zone in the middle, and a green zone in the bottom. So this kind of gives you the indication. If you're in the green zone down here, that's when there's a higher probability of price going higher from that point in time, okay? When the price, when the price is in the, trying to grab my pen back here, there we go. When the price is in the gray zone, that is when you have more of a 50-50 chance directionally. You really have no edge. There's no high probability that the price is going to go up or the price is going to go down. Price is going to be more sideways in that gray area. When you get into the red zone, that's when there's a higher probability of price going down from that level. Okay, so that's how you use the probability power box. When the price is down in the green area, that's when you want to start looking for longs. When the price is in the red area, that's where you want to start looking for shorts. And when the price is in the gray area, that's where you want to either use smaller sizes directionally, or don't trade directionally in that area. Okay, so that is the probability calculator. Then the next indicator is the power open. So these are yellow dashes that show up on your chart. They provide the open balance price to start the day. They're very useful for tone, and they also act as another level of support and resistance. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'll go back to the probability power indicators settings, and down here, the daily open. I'll go ahead and click that to show the power open. I do want to note here, it does indicate if your time frame is less than or equal to 30 minutes, that's when you will be able to use the power open. If you're using at a time frame that's greater than 30 minutes, like if you're looking at a daily or a weekly chart, then the power open is not going to show on the chart. So just be aware of that. Some of the indicators only work depending on what time frame chart you're using. So you can see here we have the yellow dashes. So this is telling us that today at 9:30, when the cash market opened, the ES futures opened at 42.6925. So that is our open price here, and you can see that price has kind of just gone back and forth. Started out holding above the open price, and then it finally broke below, and is now hanging out a little below our open price for the day. All right, then we have the elastic bands. The elastic bands show us a reversion to the mean signal within the cloud trend, and they show us the momentum or the power of a move. So let's show those. Now, I personally keep the elastic bands on a separate window, a separate pane. So that is here. So these are the elastic bands. And you can see there's three colors. There's blue bands, there's some yellow, and then there's purple bands. So again, in line with the power cloud, blue means that your trend or your momentum is up. Purple means the momentum is down. And then when you have the yellow bands, that means it's neutral and no strong momentum in either direction. And again, as was with the power cloud, just kind of back and forth. We have both up and down, and a lot of neutral here for the day, just saying that there's no big trend and momentum in either direction. We've been kind of back and forth, although started a little higher with a little more momentum to the upside, and then as of late have had a little more momentum to the downside. And then finally, we have the volume indicator. The volume indicator is going to show us the net buyers versus net sellers, as in where is the volume of the price action going. Now, this is an overall market indicator, so really only useful if you trade the indices, especially the S&P 500, either the SPY options or ES futures, or even if you trade SPX options, or of course any of the other indices, the Qs, the IWM, DIA, anything like that. The volume indicators are really going to help with overall market direction and showing where the volume of prices is going, and again showing us net buyers and net sellers. So the volume indicator I also keep on a different pane. So this is the live volume indicator for today. And go ahead and zoom way out here so I can show you some things. Grab my pen here. So you can see this is the volume indicator down here. It's been down near and in this green box here at the bottom. So first of all, there is the yellow dashes again on the volume indicator. So this is showing where the volume indicator opened today. And then this one is showing where the volume indicator opened yesterday. So you have opens on the volume indicator, which also again help with support and resistance and things like that. Big things I want to point out here, especially today, are these green boxes, this green box at the bottom and this red box at the top. So these boxes indicate whether we're in an oversold or an overbought condition. So if price is in the green box, then that means that prices are oversold. And at some point, we're going to expect a reversion back to the mean out of an oversold condition, and for prices to eventually go back up. When we're in the red box, that indicates an overbought condition. And same thing, we would expect at some point for price to revert back to the mean and come back down. Again, may not mean that day or even that week, and of course it depends on what time frame you're looking at. But at some point, we don't stay oversold forever. We don't stay overbought forever. So we look for a time when those are going to revert back to the mean. Now, if you're in a trade and price gets into the overbought over the old oversold conditions, that is a great time to take profits and leave runners. So that's a good way to use the volume indicator and the red and green boxes. Okay, you'll also see that there's a few of these lines here, and there's another one that's kind of hard to see because I'm zoomed way out, but there's another one there. So these are support and resistance levels here on the volume indicator, similar to the support and resistance zones on the charts for the power indicators. The volume indicator itself has support and resistance levels, so you can see those displayed here. And let me go ahead and zoom in now a little more. I'll show you a few other things. First of all, you can notice now that I'm zoomed in here, we have blue bars and purple bars on the volume indicator. So, and this is a 1 minute chart again. So the blue bar is indicating that that is when there is net buying happening. The volume, the price action is going on a net basis, is going more into the buying side. And then when it's purple, that's when you have net sellers, and just vice versa. That's when the volume of the price action is going to the downside. And then clear that. And then lastly, to show you, there's also these 3 different dot segments. These are retracement areas. So here you can see when the dots are blue, that is a support retracement. And then when the dots are pink, that is a resistance retracement. So also acts as areas of support and resistance. So now we have what's happening right now in the market. We have the volume indicator showing some net buying, just got back to the open price on the volume indicator, and it's testing that area. If it breaks through above that, then we would look for it to see how it responds right here at the retracement resistance on top of this resistance, minor resistance level here, which also coincides with the top of the oversold condition, or the oversold condition. So we would look for this to be pretty significant resistance area on the volume indicator. And then is it going to hold below that, or is it going to break through? And we'll see some more buying. All right, so that is the volume indicator. So now some key setups. As I kind of explained, if you're just trading cryptos and stocks, trading or even long-term investing, then you want to use the probability power indicators, the probability calculator, and the elastic bands. If you're trading the indices, ES SPY, SPX, NQ, IWM, QQQ, DIA, any of the indices, you want to use the probability power indicators, the probability calculator, the elastic bands, and you want to use the power institutional volume indicator showing net buyers versus net sellers, as I explained. And you can see the note here, you can watch YouTube case studies on the power volume indicator to show how powerful it really is for the institutional flow. And while we're on the note of the YouTube, let me pull that up. So first of all, let me show you. If you go to powerindicators.com, go into the website here, and then you have this resources tab. And at the bottom of that resources tab, you have subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that's how you can get to the YouTube channel. And just to show you the YouTube channel very quickly, have a slew of videos here on the YouTube channel for you to review. So be sure to watch those, subscribe to this, and then click the bell to get the notifications. If you go to the playlist here, you can see that there's some videos showing the indicators real time. There's some case studies, there's some short tutorials, and then there's some in-depth tutorials. So again, this is a great resource for learning how to use the tools, and just you have to feed this information to yourself as much as you can, so you can absorb as much as you can to get to know really how to use these indicators. And the YouTube channel is a great place for that. So also on the resources tab on the powerindicators.com website, there's this link here for case studies. So you can see some case study videos right here on the website. And then the most important resource is the getting started documentation. So let me show you that. So here you have the documentation here on the power indicators. So you can go review anything that I've gone over, some introduction on the tools, some information about TradingView, how to set up the indicators. And then if you actually click this indicators section here, you also have an in-depth introduction to each of the tools that I've just gone over. So the calculator, the indicators, the elastic bands, the volume indicator, all of that. So you have all the information here on the getting started guide on the resources tab. And then before I leave the powerindicators.com website, last thing I want to show you, there's also our Discord group. If you are not on our Discord, that's another great resource for information. So here is our Discord group. There's a few different channels that you might find useful. First of all, there's the public chat, which we discuss a lot of things, tones for the day. Mark will occasionally post his analysis on here. Of course, the indication of reminder for this orientation session, things like that. There's also an FAQ and support area on the Discord. So anytime you need some help, you can use that. And there's also some testimonials and case studies here on the Discord channel as well. So if you haven't joined our Discord, please do so. Go to powerindicators.com and click the Discord link. So back to my presentation here. All right, and then the last note on this slide here, be aware in settings, as I discussed before, what tools show for which time frames. So again, the power open yellow dashes will not show on charts above a 30-minute time frame. Also, if you use weekly charts, no short-term calculator is going to show. So again, just be aware that there are some indicators that only show on certain charts under certain time frames. So the edge you get with the power indicators, we solve the question to trade or not to trade. Are the probabilities aligned versus are the probabilities not aligned? When not to trade, when that's only a 50-50 probability and you have no edge, either don't trade, or if you're going to trade, trade with smaller sizes in those scenarios. Power indicators are going to help you decide whether to keep a runner or not. They help with indecision. They help to know where to enter and exit stocks and long-term assets using the long-term probability calculator and the red institutional zones. The power indicators help you recognize the trend quickly, and they just compound confidence on making higher probability decisions versus false certainties. So we're not here to tell you that you're going to make X amount of dollars and an X percentage ROI by using these tools. We're not here to give you any false promises. You know, trading is risky. And everybody trades differently, right? So the indicators are really just to help you with probabilities, and that's really what it's all about. And being more patient, such as waiting for price to get to the probability calculator edges before placing any trades. You know, when you have a higher probability of price going in that direction, if you're directionally trading, or if you're keeping more of a delta neutral stance, they help you with that as well. All right, so using the indicators, first I want to go over some current stuff going on in the market. So first of all, here I have weekly charts of the US dollar on the left and the SPX index on the right. So we look at the dollar because it gives us an indication of risk on versus risk off. So if the dollar is going up, that means risk is coming off, and we expect the market to be dropping at that moment, and vice versa. When the dollar is going down, that's when we expect more action, more activity going into buying in the stock market, because the dollar going down is a risk on indication. So we can see here on the weekly chart, the dollar was coming down and hit a level of support here. And the market has been going up while that's been happening. And just recently, we're seeing the dollar come off of that support level there around the 105 and come back up, indicating risk off. And that's when now we've seen, of course, the market drop and gap down this morning. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the dollar index. What we're kind of looking for is, and I say we as far as our private trading room with Mark's analysis, we're anticipating at some point another, possibly another drop in the dollar for another rise in prices in the market before a tumble lower. So keep an eye on this 105 area on the dollar, and then we have the bottom of the long-term calculator, the red area, the top of the gray area, there around 104.25, 104.50 area. So keep an eye on that. We also have a major zone, or I'm sorry, a minor support zone below that, around 104, 103.50. So watch out for those areas for a level of support on the dollar. And looking at the SPX, so we're here at an important level here. We're stuck in between these two institutional red dashes on SPX, 4250 and the 4390, 4400. So be aware of that. There's also a red institutional dash a little lower here around the 4125. So just be aware of those areas. Now I also want to take a look at, this is the still weekly charts of the ES, S&P futures on the left, and the VIX chart on the right. So you can see on the VIX, we have some very important support here at the 20 area and around the 18 level. So 20 to 18 is going to be very strong support on the VIX. We saw that happen again overnight. We got down just below 20 on the VIX yesterday, and we held that as support. We gapped down this morning. So if we see that maintain, we could see a rise in the VIX, which will be a lower, obviously lower price scenario in the market. So watch for the 2018 level on VIX, and we have resistance here, 25 to, just say 25 to 30, but 25 to 28.50 in there on the VIX. And then similar with the ES as we had in the SPX, we're in between these dashes right now. So 4,300, important key support, along with the 4,400, 4,350. So watch out for those areas as resistance in the market. And then we have 4125 to 4100 as an important support zone coming on the ES. All right, and then I want to go ahead and show you how to use the tools to help you with your trading. I'm going to show you yesterday's price action on the ES futures, the S&P futures, and this is a 5-minute chart. So I've I'm using the replay function here on TradingView. So we're actually back in time just as the market opened yesterday. I'm going to show you the market, the price action in the market on the ES for yesterday without any of the indicators, just so you can see how it traded. And so go ahead and play it here. So you can see, a lot of back and forth action, and it's hard to determine. Well, and actually we're already well past. So this is where the market closed right here. So let me just quickly redefine that. So this is where the market opened, and this is where the market closed. Okay. So in between these two lines there, this was our price action from yesterday. So where do you get your edge when you're trading this? Now, if you had a crystal ball, you would have said, well, here is a great place to take a long, right? Hit a bottom here, and we had a pretty nice move up. And then here at the top, that was the perfect spot to take a short. We had a real quick down move from about the 43.30 area all the way down towards the 42.90 area. So big price move there. And then it came back up a little bit before it closed. So how would you know that this was the perfect area to go long and this was the perfect area to go short and capture these two moves? So now let me go ahead and go back to the open yesterday. All right, and I'm going to turn the indicators on this time. I'll just go ahead and turn everything on. Actually, I shouldn't have gone back to the open, but let me zoom out. This is the short-term probability box. So now we can see we have some support below us. We have the two institutional red dashes below us where the price opened yesterday. And then we have the previous day's open with the yellow dashes here below that as well. You also have the calculator edges. So we have the top of the gray box here and the bottom of the gray box here. So indicating this area here is 50-50 and we have no edge. All right, so let me play the market as it opened. And now remember, we had that one spot to go long. It would have been, if we had the crystal ball, it would have been the perfect spot to take the long. And now we can see, I'm gonna back it up again. But this is that spot that I was talking about. If we had known, that was a great spot to go long. So let me back it up to that point. Oops, well, close enough. One tick off. And another thing I want to do, I also want to include the volume indicator and the elastic band. So now we have everything on the charts. We have our zones, we have our volume indicator, we have the elastic bands, we have the calculator. Okay, so we had determined that this would be the perfect spot to take a long. So what do we have? Well, we're at an institutional red dash and at a minor zone here. Okay. However, we're in the gray zone on the probability calculator. The VI is pointing down and the elastic bands are pointing down. So is that a good spot to take a long? No, it's not, because you have some conflicting information here. We're at a support level, but we don't have the indication from the volume indicator or the elastic bands to take a long. And we're also not in the green zone on the probability calculator. We have a 57% chance of a long and a 42% chance of a short, but that's not a real strong indication. So this is not where you should take the trade. So let me advance this again. This is a 5-minute chart. Oh, and the other thing that I failed to mention, at that point in time, we still had a purple cloud as well. So we had a lot of things telling you not to take the trade there. However, here, the power cloud switched from purple to blue. So now the trend is up. We have the volume indicator that held the open yellow dashes and is now pointing up, even broke through these resistance levels here. And you have the elastic bands, blue, pointing up. So here would be a good place to take the trade, because now you have the synergies of everything with the volume indicator, the elastic bands, the power cloud. You have price holding above the open and above the institutional red dash. So better synergy with all the tools telling you to take a long here. However, again, we never got into the green zone here on the probability calculator. We're still in the gray zone. So at this area, you can take a long, but do it with small sizes. And that's what the tools are telling you. Oops. All right, so let me zoom this back out a little bit. Continue playing this. Okay, now price is starting to get into, keeps going higher, and it gets into the red zone on the probability calculator. Move the volume indicator down a little bit more. So here we were in the red zone. Let me actually back it up. To the top of that move, to the top of the move up. And here we have the probability calculator giving us a 72% chance of a short at this point in time. But now at that point, volume indicator still pointing up, elastic band still pointing up, blue cloud pointing up. So not the time to take the trade. We don't have synergy. We don't have the signal everywhere else. However, when I advance it a couple more, VI starts to roll over and go down. And you can see the cloud turn from purple or blue to purple. And we have no, the elastic bands turn from blue to neutral. So now we're getting more of an indication of price going down, more of a signal from synergy of all of the tools telling us that that's a good place to take a short. So let me advance it even a little more. And so here you go. You even have confirmation with the elastic bands now pointing down. Volume indicator is going through these support levels, pointing down, and is below these retracement levels. They're all pink, showing that those are all resistance now. We have, again, a purple cloud pointing down. So now we have our down move signaled to us. I'll play this out a little further again to the end of the market. And this was the end of the market. So that's how you use the tools. You're not going to get it perfectly on the long here, but catching it here up to there, that's a nice little move. And then again, you're not going to get it right at the top of the move, but you get it from here to here, you know, that's still a good 20, 30 point move to the downside. So you can't expect to be perfect. And again, it's just using the probabilities, and the tools give you the probabilities and the confidence to know when is a good time to trade, when is a bad time to trade, when is a time to keep your sizes small, and so on. So go ahead, exit out of replay here. So now we're live on the markets. Okay. So quickly touch on money management, and then we'll hit the Q&A and the chart blast. So now we are not financial advisors. This is just sharing Mark's 28 years and my 15 years of experience. So Mark says to keep only 10% of your investable capital into cryptos, only 10% into day trading, and put 80% into long-term asset accumulation and the income trifecta plays. You can see the note there at the bottom there. You can see examples of those income trifecta plays on the Power Indicators TradingView community page. For me, as far as money management is concerned, I just split it into long-term and short-term, and I say only 30% of your investable capital into short-term trading. But I do agree with Mark, no more than 10% of that into day trading. And then I say 70% into long-term asset accumulation and income trifectas, but no more than 5% per position. So the biggest takeaway from that is for short-term trading, you want a smaller percentage of your investable capital. You want the majority of your investable capital into the long-term plays, long-term investing. All right. So what questions do you guys have? And again, if you have any charts that you guys want to take a look at, I'll pull those up on the tools. So we can take a look at that with the indicators. So let me know if there's any charts you want to take a look at. Let me know what questions you guys have. I don't see any questions in the Q&A. Let me go back here through the chat and see what I missed. Okay, Sanjay asked you asked what do those percentages mean? Hopefully that was answered while I was going through the power indicator or the probability calculator explanation. Sam, you said all these indicators, especially the probability rates, are changing every time. Do we have to play it with the time frame? Does it work with crypto, any particular stocks? So Sam, yes, the tools work for all assets. They work for crypto, they work for stocks, and then it just depends on what your time frame is and how you trade. So if you are just doing long-term investing or swing trading, then maybe look at a daily chart or weekly chart of whatever you're doing. Probably don't need the short-term calculator on there. Just use the long-term calculator for whatever you're looking at. But yeah, it works for cryptos, works for all stocks. I'll say all stocks, all stocks that are traded on the U.S. market. There are certainly international stocks as well. I don't think that's the right chart. There are certainly international stocks that this will work on. However, it's really only guaranteed for U.S. stocks. There might be some that it doesn't work on. But yeah, it works on anything you want. Sanjay, do these retracement levels change? Are they static for the day? So yeah, Sanjay, that's a great question. All of the indicators, the support and resistance levels, the retracement levels, those are all dynamic. They do change throughout the day. So yeah, they are updated, and that's why we use the replay function to kind of show you how the tools work, because the replay function is going to show us what the indicators were saying at the time. If I looked at yesterday's trading with today's support and resistance and today's short-term probability box, it would be way off because we gapped down this morning. So yeah, it does get updated throughout the day. Obviously, the only thing that doesn't change is the open power open, because that's going to remain the same. But everything else, the support and resistance, the retracement levels on the VI, all of that changes dynamically. And yeah, thanks, Fondell, for that help. Okay, Sanjay, so you're saying you want to take a look at the ES? Let me know what you want to look at with the ES. I spent a lot of time on that actually today. So if there's any specific questions you want to take a look at, 5-minute chart level. So this is where I'm at. This is a 5-minute chart of the ES right now, the live trading. So we're above the open price currently right here, right now. We just switched to a blue cloud on the 5-minute chart, and it hasn't been blue since here 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's something to take note of. Although, we're coming out of the lunch hour, so there's not as much volume right now. So it may be a little false indication there, but that's what we have. We have the volume indicator is holding above the support, above this retracement, and above the overbought or oversold condition. So that could be another indication. Now what's going on with my elastic bands? Sorry. Well, right now the elastic bands are neutral. Can't see it very well, but Daryl, is there a way to delete the cloud? Yes, you can remove the cloud from your charts. So if you go to the probability power indicators settings, go to that gearbox there. And here at the bottom is the probability power cloud. So you can uncheck that power cloud, and then you'll see that the cloud goes away. So yep, you can absolutely customize that if you don't want to have a cloud on your chart. Okay, Mark. Oh, okay. Walt wanted you to put up that chart of XRP. Absolutely, Walt. Let me choose crypto, make sure I get the right one. All right, so for XRP, let me switch to a weekly chart here. On XRP. So right now we are here, have 2 institutional red dashes. We're holding on to the one above here. And then there's one just below, which held as support earlier. So we have 40 cents to 30 cents. It's the range that we're in between these 2 red dashes. So and then you can see we are in the lower end of the long-term probability box, with showing an 82% chance of a long-term from this price. So I would say this 40 to 30 area long-term is a good price on XRP for long-term. So, but it just depends on what you're looking to do. If you're looking for long-term investing, then that's how you want to take a look at that. Walt, let me know if there's anything other than that you wanted to take a look at on XRP. And then, yeah, Mark reminded us we have the Fed minutes at 2 p.m. Eastern, so about an hour from now. Mentioned that earlier. Sanjay, is there something that tells us overall strength of a level IAF if it will hold? That's really just taking a look at all of the indicators. You take into consideration everything. You look at the probability calculator, and that'll tell you if you have a higher percentage over shorter or long at that point in time. The red institutional dashes are very important levels. The elastic bands will give us an indication where momentum is going. So you really just have to look at all the tools to really determine that. It's about probabilities. So to answer your question, it should be, the answer is the tools are telling you what the probability of the strength of a level, if it'll hold. It's not going to tell you for sure it's going to, but it's going to tell you and give you an indication of the probability whether it will or not. All right, Daryl, you're saying that your gearbox is not responding. That I don't know what the issue could be. You could try restarting your browser, seeing if that'll fix it. Okay, send an email later. So you can send an email. I was going to say you could also, if you're on our Discord, you can reach out to us on the FAQ support channel on Discord. Somebody might be able to help you with that too. Just initial things I would try, just resetting your browser, resetting the chart, see if that fixes it. You could also try removing the indicator and then adding the indicator back. That might fix your issue too. And then Mark just said always refresh browser tabs to reset. So what he's talking about there is if you right click on the tab and click reload, that'll clear out some stuff. Sanjay, are these dashes levels stay the same or change across time frames? So as far as, again, they're dynamic, so they'll change throughout the day. As far as time frames, they're going to be pretty similar across different time frames. But you want to look at them. Some of the stuff might be a little different. So that's why you want to, depending on what time frame you're trading, those are the time frames that you want to use. And you want to look across those different time frames to see where the synergies are, where there's similarities and where there's differences. That's what's going to give you the edge in your trading. Absolutely. All right, that looks like that is everything. Is there any other charts that anybody wants to take a look at, or any other questions on the tools? Does everybody have the tools? Is there anybody in here that does not have the tools yet? Sanjay, you're saying you don't have the tools? Okay, great, Daryl. Yeah, Mark's suggestion fixed it. Perfect. Well, it'll be Sanjay. It'll be Zap that we'll be working with for that. Do you already have the link? Have you already downloaded the tools? And if you have, and you just need to get it set up, then you can just email contact@powerindicators.com to get that set up. Let me type that in here. All right, so that's the email that you want to send to Sanjay. And yeah, Mark's saying make sure to read the user guide. It's very helpful, again, on the powerindicators.com website under resources, getting started documentation. Get a lot of information there. You bet. All right, is that it? Looks like I don't have any other questions. Well, I haven't purchased tools, was a member of DTZ before. So here, Mark, while you're here, if you don't have the tools downloaded yet, I'll give you my referral link. Okay, so you can, and that link comes with a 14-day trial on the tools, Walt. So you can try it for 14 days. They only work on TradingView. So if you don't have TradingView, you can get a free trial of TradingView for 30 days. So you'll be able to try out the tools that way. All right, and Vondell wants to take a look at XLM real quick. So let's do that. On a weekly chart, if you type the symbol like that, will it actually, oh, it does. Okay, cool. Of course, I don't have updated data on this. On the weekly, here we go. But I'm not seeing, maybe if I just do XLM. Of course, it's not what you're looking for. And are you looking at this XLM crypto, Vondel? Okay. Yeah, and Walt, so you just go to tradingview.com and you can, or actually, I think there's something in that link that I gave you, but you can do a 30-day trial of TradingView and then a 14-day trial of the tools. All right, so Vondel, XLM is very similar to XRP. Looks like we're holding this red dash here as resistance, and so I would expect it, you know, to come down and at least test this red dash below us. So that's around the 9 cent, 8 cent area, and at that point, that's when it's in the, you know, the bottom 10th of the probability calculator. So that is where I would look, you know, maybe between 5 cents and 10 cents would be a good place to long that. Where's the bottom of this? 6 cents. So yeah, somewhere between 7 and 8 cents, 7 and 10 cents looks like a good entry long to me, long term. Is that it? Any other questions? Any other charts? About out of time here anyway, so that is it. Mark saying use our partner link TradingView. They'll give you a 10% discount on the second billing. Also, they'll give you a 30 days trial, I believe. Use the Pro Pack. Yeah, so that's what I thought. There's a partner link here for Power Indicator. So Mark just put that in the chat, Walt. So use that link to get TradingView. You'll get a discount. And of course, anyone else on here that doesn't have TradingView yet, use that link. I need to, thanks, Mark. I need to store this somewhere. All right. Any other questions? Anything else anybody needs help with? Again, join us on the Discord if you have any questions. I usually look out on the FAQs there to try to help people, and of course, there's other people helping out there as well. So if you do have any questions after this session, go on the Discord and ask in the FAQ. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. We'll see you next week. And don't forget, have yeah, you're welcome, Vondel. FOMC minutes in about an hour, 2 p.m. So stay very small or have no trades on during that time. It's going to get whippy. All right, everyone. Make it a great day.